Hey there, I'm Kristine Weber. Thanks for joining my weekly live stream. I just got a new camera, so I'm playing around with that. Let me know if it's working okay. Because I used to use my Logitech camera for my webcam for everything, but I actually got a real camera. So we'll see how it goes. Hey, today I want to talk about twists, seated twists particularly. I absolutely love twists, and I'll never forget when I studied in India, the teachers would always say, this is what's so good for your nervous system, because the nerves are all coming out of the spinal cord. Of course, these are largely sympathetic branch of the autonomic nervous system, but and also motor nerves, right? Everything's coming out of your spinal column into your body, sensory motor nerves. And so the twisting, they would say, massages those nerves. Now, I have no idea if that's accurate in terms of scientific, in terms of the scientific awareness. It's what the tradition says. And there's some, yeah, some yogis were prone to hyperbole, but instead of twists just being good for the organs, I think it's also interesting to think about them as good for the nervous system. Now, the problem is that a lot of people do twists and use their arms like crowbars. So they'll sit, and I'm going to lose my bolster for this. They'll sit in Matsyendra and, take that arm around the outside and, crank yourself into that twist. I did that when I was younger, and many other stupid things. But I used to do that when I was younger because I was like, I'm not very flexible. I gotta really, elbow myself. And I remember one time hearing something that didn't sound so good in my low back, and that it was not good. Also, I felt some pain. I think it was contributing to pain in my sacroiliac joint. So there's ways to do twists where you don't, seated twists where you don't have to have that risk. Now, remember, when you're sitting, the load of your spine, of your body, of your organs, of your muscles is all right there in the lumbar spine. That's why the doctors are saying sitting is the new smoking, because it's so much more, it's so risky for many reasons, right? So one of the things you can do is use a bolster, and that takes some, it gives you a little bit more lift and takes some of that weight out of the lumbar, so it makes it a little safer. Also, if you are not a seated twist person, you can twist on the floor on your back, because that takes the load out of the spine. Very little load in your spine when you're lying on your back. So that's a great way to twist. But I also love seated twists. So what can you do? Well, instead of doing these twists where you're, cranking yourself into it with your arms, what about not using the arms at all? It totally changes the orientation, totally changes the experience of the pose. And then you add breath-centric movement, right? So I use a lot of structural breath, which, and if you don't know what that means, look in my other videos, you'll find videos for it. So as we inhale, the chest expands and there's a lengthening of the spine. And then as you exhale, you engage the lower belly. And the chest is going to relax a little bit. That's normal. But that way of twisting, it really gives you this openness before you move into the pose. So what's the look, mom, no hands twist? We'll take the arms out to the side. Elbows are soft. When you're ready, use your inhale to lengthen your spine. Fill up the chest. And then when you exhale, draw the belly in. So you're using your obliques and other abdominal muscles, and twist to the right and look over the right shoulder. It's interesting, right? And then inhale back to neutral. Get taller. On the exhale, twist to the left, draw the belly in. Using only abdominals here. Really different. Well, you're using other things, but for the twist, mostly it's abdominal. And obliques. Inhale back to neutral. And exhale to the right again. You can let your head follow. It doesn't matter how far you twist. And taking that front arm in front is not going to help you. Just keep it where it is. Inhale back, and you'll notice that one side's easier than the other for many people. Many people, it's much easier to twist to one side than the other due to various asymmetries, which is normal. Inhale back to neutral, but very important to understand in yourself. Now, here's a little something we're going to add to it. As you exhale and twist to the right, we're going to stay in the pose. So your elbows are incredibly helpful for, and your shoulder blades for twisting. So as you inhale, get taller again. Maybe the arms get a little straighter. As you exhale, squeeze your elbows behind you. Draw the belly in. A little different, right? Inhale, get taller. It's like you're lifting heavy platters, if you like, or bowling balls. Exhale, drawing in. So you're getting a little bit of arm work here, but also you're not using your arms as weapons. They're, of cranking you, like crowbars cranking you into it. You're using them as support for the twist. Inhale back to neutral, get taller. And then you're going to exhale to the left. Draw the belly in. As you inhale, the arms get a little straighter and they kind of lift up like you're holding something. And as you exhale, you draw the elbows behind you a bit, especially that back elbow. That's where you're really getting it. Inhale, lifting. But your front elbow is just helping in terms of the neuromuscular facilitation. Understanding that they're both doing the same thing is helpful often for your body. They like symmetry. Draw the belly in and then inhale back to neutral. And exhale your arms down. So just take a moment and kind of tune in. Like, of course, you do a lot of work in your arms with that, but also do you feel the work that you did with the twist without having to use the periphery to yank yourself into it? Rather, you're using the core, which that's everything, right? It's everything. You could do the same kind of a twist with your hands, floppy on your waist and just using your belly, or on your lap rather, and just using your belly. You could do that. That's another way of doing it. But I'm not cranking. It's the cranking where there's some risk. I hope that's helpful. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again next week. I've been working on some breath, more breath-centric versions of poses because people told me they really liked that down dog video I did. So I'll do some more of those in the future. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you again.